Good evening, church. I am happy to be here with you tonight. I'm happy to be part of this family for 2 months now. So most of you guys don't know me yet. Hindi pa siguro niyo ako nakikita personally, most of you. Liban kay Pastor Sera. But some of you ay kilala ko na rin sa mukha because every worship ay nakikita ko kayong nagpa-participate. And hopefully, one of these days ay magkita-kita tayo face to face. It has been almost 2 decades since my last speaking engagement. Binata pa yata ako noon. And this evening, I would like to share with you about a story on how Jesus treated an outsiders. So, I was not born as an Adventist. I am an outsider. I feel like I am an outsider before. Lumaki akong ilang religion ang napuntahan at napag-attendan ng kung ano-anong service, name it and you can have it. Sabi nga, lahat yata ng religion napuntahan ko na and ended up becoming an Adventist just 2 decades ago. So, becoming one of an Adventist or the member of this church is so fulfilling that you cannot ask for more. But that is not the story I'd like to tell you tonight. Hindi po yan ang pag-uusapan natin yung kwento ng buhay ko. The story I would like to tell you tonight is found in the Luke 2:10. But before that, I would like to share with you about what happened 2 weeks ago. When the government released an order that unvaccinated workers ay hindi na pwedeng mag-work unless they can secure a negative result of RT-PCR. And it hurts a lot of my colleague here in hospital because I work here in hospital. Maraming sa mga kaibigan kong medyo nasaktan sa ganung proklamasyon na yun because our institution adopted that mandate because that is a government mandate and we have to follow it. And some of my friends who are not vaccinated, medyo nag-iba yung pananaw nila about that. Because they are saying that we are Seventh-day Adventists, and so on and so forth. But that is not a reason enough para lang i-bypass yung government mandate. That's not. And nagkaroon sila ng mind setting na we are treating them as outsiders because we are vaccinated and they are not. And it's very hard for us na parang, bakit nila kailangan maramdaman yung ganon? Bakit kailangan nilang ihiwalay yung sarili nila? Or isipin nila na iba sila sa amin dahil lang ba sa vaccinated ang karamihan sa amin at sila ay hindi? What I'm trying to say is, wag sana nating hayaan itong issue na to na magkaroon ng barriers sa pagiging magkakaibigan natin. Not only as a friendship. Huwag natin din gamitin yung religion natin para magkaroon tayo ng lusot kung ano mang pinag-uutos ng gobyerno. So, itong lahat ng mga binabanggit ko ay meron itong kinalaman sa pag-uusapan natin ngayong gabi. So, with that in mind, it is very intriguing to notice and how Jesus treated an outsiders and discovers who the insiders really are. In Luke chapter 7, verses 2 to 10, it says that a certain centurion servant who was dear to him was sick and ready to die. So when he heard about Jesus, he sent elders of the Jews to him. So, i-picture niyo po ito. A centurion sending a Jews elders to Jesus and pleading with him to come and heal his servant. So, medyo meron na pa kayong idea kung ano yung pagkakaiba ng dalawa. Chapter 4, and when they came to Jesus, they begged him earnestly, saying that the one for whom he should do this was deserving. For he loves our nation and has built us a synagogue. This Jewish leader is talking about the centurion. Verse 6, then Jesus went with them, and when he was already not far from the house, the centurion sent friends to him, saying to him, Lord, Do not trouble yourself, for I am not worthy that you should enter under my roof. I am highlighting some text here para medyo catchy siya at matandaan nyo. Therefore, I did not even think myself worthy to come to you. But say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I also am a man placed under authority, having soldiers under me, and I say to one, go, and he goes, and to another, come, and he comes, and to my servant, do this, and he does it. Remember, the first passage, it says that this centurion, ay inutusan niya yung mga Jewish leaders or elders to meet Jesus para lang sabihan na pagalingin yung kanyang servants. Moving on. And verse 9, and when Jesus heard these things, he marveled at him. So, balikan po natin yun. Nagtaka siya. Ano yung pinagtakahan ni Jesus doon sa sinabi mismo ni centurion? And turned around and said to the crowd that followed him, I say to you, I have not found such great faith, not even in Israel. Last verse. And those who were sent, returning to the house, found the servant well, who had been sick. I hope you know, or you're familiar about the 7 wonders of the world. So, I will not be talking about the 7 wonders of the world tonight. I will be talking about the 7 wonders from this story. Kung ano yung mga wonders about this story. So, the first wonder is the courage of the centurion who sent word to Jesus about his servant who was ill. So, this is the first of the 7 things that we might consider from this experience. Yung courage ng centurion na isend or ipadala yung or sabihan yung mga Jewish leader na sabihan si Jesus Christ na pagalingin yung kanyang servant who is deeply ill. During the time, if you are going to picture it, this is a centurion. And during the time of Christ, centurions are Roman soldiers. So, these Roman soldiers are considered as Gentiles. Pero kung titignan yun, this is the first verses, bakit nagawa niyang utusan yung mga Jewish leaders? And the Jewish leader says that he is worthy to Jesus Christ pa. So, later on, pag-usapan natin yan. What happened to the centurion servant? So, they were not even considered as worthy of God's notice. Itong mga centurions or itong mga Gentiles na to. They were despised by the Jewish. Meron silang barrier, yung Jewish at saka mga Gentiles during the time. So he must have possessed a truly marvelous degree of faith, even breaking through the Jewish system. So, not only that he was a Gentile, he was a Roman soldier. Not only that he was a Roman soldier, he is a centurion. Meron siyang bata-batalyon ng tao. Meron siyang bata-batalyon ng mga sundalo na pwede niyang utusan. But, you know, because of this courage, his courage to send word to Jesus, that is the reason why Jesus marveled. Isa lang ito sa mga wonders na pwede nating kapulutan ng aral. He is a very unlikely candidate for one of the great faith, the centurion servant. Second one is the authority. So the authority of the centurion who acknowledged his limits in the presence of the one who have all the power in heaven and earth. So evidently, his faith came from a personal experience with God. And he knows something about God even before he met Jesus. Kung titignan nyo, during the last phrases or the last verse is sinabi niya na for I am also a man placed under authority, having soldiers under me. And I say to one, go, and he goes. And to another, come, and he comes. And to my servant, do this, and he does it. So, dito, he humbled himself. Even though he is in authority, he acknowledged his limits in the presence of the one who have all the power in heaven and earth. So, even before he met Jesus, alam niya na yung kanyang authority is just below, under the power of Jesus Christ. he recognized the greatness of Jesus. So even the Jewish people on that day didn't do that. Mga panahon ni Kristo, if you're going back, or if you're going to look back at some of the events, na maraming mga Jewish leaders during that time na hindi sila naniniwala kay Kristo. They were so busy doing good externally that they didn't have time to realize who this Galilean was. But the centurion knew. Because he said, I have authority. And he went on to describe the limits of the authority he had. And he saw himself as an only reflection in the presence of the one who had all the power in heaven and earth. He recognized Jesus. Kinikilala niya yung kapangyarihan ni Kristo. The one who had all the authority. His faith accepted Jesus as one sent from God. And he apparently had no questions about it. All the religious people of this day could have joined in if they had so chosen. Kung alam lang ng mga religious people yon, kung naniniwala lang sila nung mga panahon na yon, meron silang malakas na pananampalataya. They already have joined Jesus, but they refused to because they are so busy doing good things externally. Third one is conviction of the centurion who accepted Jesus for who he was, even before the signs and wonders. As I have mentioned before, Jewish leaders during that time, hindi sila naniniwala. Kahit na sinabi pa ni John na there's a Messiah that is coming. Ang ginawa nila, when, if you're going to remember, during the visit of Jesus to the temple, nung pinagtatatabuyan niya yung mga nagtitinda doon sa labas, at sinita siya ng mga Jewish leaders, sinabi niya na, I am the Messiah. Anong sagot sa kanya? Show us some signs, show us some miracles, and we will believe. Maniniwala ako sa iyo kung magpapakita ka ng signs and miracles. Here, the centurion accepted Jesus kahit na wala pang signs and wonders. Unlike dun sa mga Jews na kailangan mo munang patunayan. He asked for no sign. Because you know what, people in those days were always asking for signs. Show us a sign and then we will believe. And one time Jesus told them, you wouldn't not believe. Hindi kayo maniniwala kahit na pa magbuhay ako ng isang patay. And later, he proved that by raising Lazarus from the dead. But what happened? They did not only believe. They plotted to kill. Pinagplanuhan pa nilang patayin si Kristo. So the sign made no difference. And during the visit of Jesus Christ to the Galilee, he went to him and implored him to come down and heal his son, for he was at the point of death. So isa ito sa mga insidente doon na after he went for, I think this is the second sign that he shows right before the wedding at the Cana. Ito yung pinagaling ni Kristo, yung anak ng isang nobleman. So he said in John 4:8, unless you people see signs and wonders, you will by no means believe. Ibig sabihin, hindi kayo maniniwala hanggat wala akong pinapakitang signs and wonders sa inyo. How easy it is us to base our trust in God whether or not our prayers are answered. Ang nakita ni Kristo doon sa mga Jewish noblemen is a conditional faith that would not believe unless signs and wonders were produced, but not with the Roman centurion. Hindi na kailangan ng Roman centurion ng signs and wonders para siya ay maniwala. The fourth wonders is trust. Of centurion to Jesus that he will heal his dying servant. So this is the first reason why we should wonder at this story, because of the condition of the servant. He was a dying man. Malapit na siyang mamatay. The centurion's request was more than asking Jesus to cure a common cold. Hindi lang ordinaryong sakit yung kanyang request, but to heal his dying servant. This man was in a deep trouble. He was on his deathbed. Malapit na siyang mamatay. Yet the centurion was willing to ask for what looked like an impossible. Ito yung mission impossible para sa kanya. He believed that the creator of the universe could speak the word and his servant would be healed. So, dito, bago pumasok si Kristo, bago pumasok si Jesus Christ sa bahay ng centurion, he was stopped. The centurion sent his friend. And this is where the fifth wonder came. His faith. That went so far to say to Jesus that just speak the word and my servant will be healed. So imagine going to a doctor today in behalf of your loved ones in a serious problem. Pupunta ka sa isang ospital. Kakausapin mo yung doktor, sasabihin mo, Doc, just speak the word and tell us what the medicine will cure the problem and it will be enough. Are you willing to do that? Or would you prefer to have him personally check kaysa sa ikaw na lang ang pumunta at tanongin yung doktor kung anong gamot? This man was given a choice of having the great physician make a house call or not and refuse saying, that won't be necessary. Sabi ng centurion, just speak the word that my servant will be healed. It takes a lot of faith. Right here, we can see the spiritual lesson in this story. Looking at the physical healing, let's not miss the deeper lesson here. We are all aware that not everyone who prays and asks for physical healing is healed of his physical problems. Even the most godly sometimes suffer and die in this world of sin, lalo nitong mga nakaraang buwan. Because of this COVID-19, maraming namatay sa COVID-19. Maraming mga mananampalatayang mga kasama natin na namatay. But it is a universal timeless principle that God is in the business of forgiving. And there's no condition except that we come to seek and ask Him. God wants His people who will be faithful unto death to witness before the universe that they will still love and trust Him no matter what happened. But when it comes to our sins, He always forgives. I remember the story of one of, nakalimutan ko na kung sino, that our Father loves us very much. Because you know what? Sa umaga, pagising natin, supposedly dapat nagpapasalamat tayo by just saying a word of prayer. Pero nakakalimutan natin. Pagdating natin sa trabaho, busy tayo doon. Hanggang dumating ang hapon. And our God is waiting for us na makipag-communicate sa Kanya. He is patiently waiting for us to make a communication or to communicate to Him. Pagdating ng gabi, He is very excited. Ito na siguro yung time para kausapin ako ng anak ko. But because you are so very, very tired, dahil sa traffic, dahil sa trabaho, sa maghapon, etc., natulog ka na lang without praying. And God understands you. Naintindihan, pagod na pagod yung anak ko, kaya siguro hindi niya na ako naalala. Dahil mahal ka ng Diyos, binantayan ka sa buong magdamag na pagtulog at ginising ka pa niya. Expecting na siguro sa pagising niya magpapasalamat siya sa akin. Kaya lang pagising mo, dahil nagmamadali ka na at late ka na sa trabaho, nakakalimutan mo ng mga nalangin ulit. Naintindihan ka ulit ng Panginoon. Kailangan niya siguro magmadali na, kaya siguro ako na. Ganun kahaba ang pasensya ng Panginoon para sa atin. He is just waiting for us to make a communication, to make a connection with Him. The question is, ilang araw na natin ginagawa yan? Ilang linggo? Or ilang taon? Well, for myself, I am guilty of that. Lalo nitong mga nakaraang buwan. Sabi ko nga kanina na I was disconnected for almost 2 years. Kasi halos wala akong naging routine. Sa pang-araw-araw kung hindi. Yeah, I can pray but sometimes I forgot. Dahil na din sa mga reasons na yon. But He is very patient. He just wants us to communicate with Him. So the sixth wonders, going back, is the humility of the centurion. So this is the sixth reason to wonder at the centurion is because of his humility. So he humbled himself in the presence of the one who has all the power in heaven and on earth. So the Jewish leader during the time who came with his request said to Jesus, He is worthy. Ito yung mga inutusan ng centurion. He is worthy. If you're looking for someone who is worthy, to whom you are going to grant a good gift, ito na yon, siya na yon. Kung may pagbibigyan ka ng regalo. Because what? Because this man, this centurion, built as a synagogue. He deserved an extra blessing for that. But the centurion sent word. Ang sabi ng centurion, papunta na dun sa si Jesus Christ, I am not worthy for you even come to under my roof. Speak the word, Lord, and my servant will be healed. There's a big difference between being worth something and being worthy. So, we often feel that we are not worth anything, but remember this, and that is one of the great problems in the world today. Many people feel worthless, but Jesus at the cross proved that we are worth everything. So when the centurion said, I am not worthy, he was giving an evidence of genuine faith. Genuine faith is trust in another. And when we trust another, we admit that we need another. And to admit that, we need Jesus day by day. So, it is only the person who gets low enough at the foot of the cross who can experience the blessings of the cross. So, the humility of the centurion himself is a good example. Imaginein mo ang centurion ay mayroong rango, mayroon siyang, kumbaga sa panahon natin ngayon, may katungkulan siya sa pamalaan, but he humbled himself in the presence of the Lord for his servant. And the last wonder is his character. So, his character being an outsider for someone dear to him. So, this is the seventh reason we might wonder at the centurion today. Even though he's an outsider, he is being despised in the eyes of the Jewish leaders. He had been transformed by God to have a real burden of servant. He said, won't you please come and heal him because he is dear to me? Mayroon ka bang maririnig ngayon ng mga may katungkulan sa pamahalaan, may katungkulan sa militar na sasabihin na dahil may sakit ang kanyang katulong na, can you please come and heal him because he is dear to me? Maybe some of us here kaya, but most, I don't think so. So those are just the 7 wonders that I would like to share with you tonight. Ito yung 2 specific times na si Jesus ay nag-wonder or marveled on this gospel. The first one is he marveled at the faith of an outsider, which is in this case, the centurion. And the second one, and the opposite reason, is he marveled at the lack of faith of the religious leaders during that time. So, the real insiders have compassion and spirit. This is what we should remember always. And that's why tonight I would like to ask you, or ask yourself, if you have someone who is dear unto you, can I do the same and say, will you please do something for this person because he's dear unto me or she is dear unto me? Siguro napakadali lang ngayon, sa panahon natin ngayon, napakadali lang sabihin yan. But how about if he or she is a complete stranger to us or an outsider the way we consider it? Can we do the same? Because if so, that is what makes us a real insider. When we have the compassion and spirit of Jesus and are more concerned about others than anything else, that is the real insider. That is the real feeling of being an insider, one of the Jesus, having a compassionate spirit of Jesus. Now, can you picture the conclusion of the story? When Jesus heard about the centurion servant, he said without hesitation, sinabi niya na, I will come and heal him. Hindi na siya nag-alangan nung sinabihan siya ng mga Jewish leaders, nung in-invite siya ng Jewish leaders. Hindi na siya nag-alangan, hindi na siya nagdalawang isip na sabihin na pupuntahan ko siya at pagagalingin. And centuries have now gone by and we are living in a verge of eternity. Malapit nang dumating. Malapit na yung second coming. Malapit nang dumating si Kristo. And we can see Jesus today, sitting in the right hand of the Father, who has all the power in heaven and earth. He is looking down upon a world in trouble, filled with pain, death, and tears. So, and I can hear him say once again that on his second coming, he will say, I will come and heal them. Babalik ako para kayo ay pagalingin. And there will come a day very soon now that he will come and heal all of his servants who are dear unto him. The controversy will be ended, and the question of God's love and justice will be forever settled. And Jesus will do what he wanted to do all along. He will heal all of us who have accepted his love, and God himself will come to dwell with us, and they will wipe away all tears. What a beautiful picture. Ano po mga kapatid? What a beautiful hope. And tonight, this is all my prayer, and hopefully we ponder on it and ask ourselves, kumusta na kaya ang pananampalataya ko sa kay Kristo? That is all. Good evening.